Kyle Hamilton is just one of the more unique prospects in this draft. I made a first impressions video on him, just talking about the first game I saw of him and some concerns I had. It wasn't a good game of his, and now that I've watched his entire tape, I do have to say that was one of his worst games. So that's the nice thing, is that he's not maybe as bad as my initial reaction was. I still have some concerns about him. I think that he is someone who I would say, if used correctly, can be a very positive asset, but he is not someone I would consider a can't-miss prospect. We'll start off with this play, and my biggest issues of him are just him as a free safety, which typically in today's NFL, if you're a safety, you're going to have to spend some time playing free safety. Like, that's the thing, and that's what concerns me. If this is back in, 87, I don't know why I picked that year, but, back in the 80s, he could just be a box safety and fine. That is what it is, and you're good. In today's NFL, teams disguise so frequently that you're probably going to have to play some free, where I have a little bit of concerns, and this is an example where he's the free safety on this play, so he's the player who is deep. It's going to be man coverage, and watch what happens. So first, what you're going to see is that there is a bit of a play action, which gets Hamilton to move in a little bit. So again, if you're a deep safety, you don't really have to pay that much attention to that stuff. You would think if there's only one safety deep, kind of trust your teammates a little bit more, but that's a nitpick. And it's a college where guys get to the second level a lot easier, so I'm not going to blame him too much for that. What you do see now, though, is that he's a bit out of position. The player who the quarterback wants to throw this ball to is going to get open. And this is just the thing where, everyone loves to talk about how much Hamilton can move, and that his 40 time doesn't tell the whole story. He's actually someone who, runs a lot better on tape than he does on a track. And while I acknowledge it's better, I certainly wouldn't call it great, and this is something that you would maybe hope that he could at least have a chance at making a play on. However, as you see, he just isn't going to get there. Again, I have a hard time calling these bad plays, right? It's not a bad play, it's just a fine play. It's an okay play, and quite frankly, maybe that's just kind of how I view Hamilton, is I had such high expectations of, oh my god, people are talking about a safety who could go second overall, and then I watched the tape, and I'm like, oh no, he's just like a solid safety. That's kind of been my feelings on him, which is why I might seem more negative tonally, even though I haven't evaluated all the safeties yet, but he might still end up being my safety number one. I don't think he's worth a top 5 pick. Now let's go over to stuff like this. This is going to be a lot of what I want to talk about. I feel like with Hamilton, one of the things that he has going for him and why he has maybe an inflated sense of hype and why people are higher on him than I think other people are, is I feel like he makes a lot of quick decisions. I don't think he always makes the correct decisions. And listen, look, there's people that have studied the tape tremendously and are big fans of him, of course, too. But this is kind of the issue, and this is why I have some reservations about Hamilton. Because you see some good plays, right? I've circled him on the screen. Watch what he's going to do. As you see, Hamilton kind of like hugs the ref a little bit, but then he goes over and he's going to make an incredible read on that play, gets the quick tackle, and does not allow a big gain. This is the upside with Hamilton, and quite frankly, this is definitely something that in my initial video, when I made my initial reaction, I didn't see it in that game. I saw it a lot more throughout the course of this stuff, and this is why I think he's exciting, especially as a box safety, because he is capable of doing this stuff. This one's another one. Again, you see where he is on the field here, and right when this play begins, you're going to see Kyle Hamilton just, again, makes a good read, sidesteps the ref. I hate how the refs are there. Well, get the refs somewhere else. That drives me crazy in college, but regardless, he's able to get over and make a quick tackle and an impressive tackle. So these are the positives that you see with Hamilton. So what's my issue? My issue is it seems like he makes his decisions quickly and misses on some of the stuff. Like, he doesn't do this consistently enough for me personally. As you see right here, another aspect is going to be, so this is where he's at. Again, you see where he is on the field. And right when this play begins, what you're going to notice is that Kyle Hamilton makes the read, gets over and gets in position, and just whiffs on the tackle. And this is something you saw on tape. Like, this is going to be another example where you see where he is on the field. He's right there. Hamilton's going to charge in. He was blitzing on his play, and he misses that tackle. He comes so close, but doesn't quite get there. And that's my point, is that if he hit on that play, that would have been awesome, and that would have been on every single highlight reel. But he doesn't hit on them as much. And I kind of feel like he sometimes has a bit of what happened with Jonathan Abram. Again, I don't want to sit here and say he's going to be like Jonathan Abram, because Abram is not a good NFL player. I still have hope that Kyle Hamilton will be a good NFL player. I do. I like him as a prospect. If somehow my team got him, I would be very excited, although that seems unlikely given where Tampa Bay is picking. But my point is that he comes in and tries to make those plays so frequently. When it works, it's awesome, and they're highlight reel level plays, and you notice them, but he doesn't have a great batting average at it. It's not horrible either, but it's not what you would maybe want it to be. But it can kind of make people feel as though you're better than you actually are. That's something I think is fair to be a little concerned about. Again, if we're talking about how he performed on the field, in the data I have researched, I made a whole study on this, there has not been a player that I consider elite that did not have at least an 80 PFF grade in one of their seasons. And in fact, only 2 guys who I consider elite in the data I've researched going back to about, I think it was 2013 or 2014 is when I started. The only 2 guys that are elite that didn't have an 80 plus PFF grade in the final year were Jair Alexander and Josh Allen, but both of them had better seasons in the past. Kyle Hamilton has never had an 80 plus grade. So that's another, I think it's a concerning thing. Although in fairness, he had one that was like 79. So I don't know if you want to count that or not, say it's close enough, but still, it's another thing to say, yeah, maybe not second overall. But again, going back to something like this, just, really driving home these types of plays, sometimes they are legitimately awesome. Like this was a 4th down and 1, and watch what Hamilton's going to do. Watch his ability to really, he comes in and he's going to make just such a great play on this, gets to the ball carrier so quickly and stops him short of the 1st down. That's just an awesome play, but this also kind of goes back to my final point of all of these great plays tend to not be him as a coverage safety. They're very much as a box safety. And part of me, quite frankly, I think Kyle Hamilton's a linebacker. That I just do. I think he's a great linebacker. I just don't think he's a safety. Or certainly not a free safety. I think he could be a safety in a specific role where maybe he plays some cover 2 and mostly plays as a strong safety. I like that. I just don't love his versatility as a free safety. I didn't see that on film. Some people did, so I don't know. Maybe we're watching different things. Maybe I'm dumb and can't realize this and looking at the wrong thing. I don't know. I think that's possible. I don't want to sit here and say, well, I'm right and everyone else who likes him is wrong, because that's not how this stuff works, right? We're all right and all wrong about some of this. We all have hot takes, and half our hot takes are right and half of our hot takes are wrong. I don't know which one this one's going to be, but I'm still going to give my opinion because that's what I feel, and I think that there's a very real chance that I am right about this. And again, finally, I'll leave it with one last good play, something like this. It's going to be a screen pass right here. I've circled Hamilton on the screen, and watch what happens. As you see, it is going to be just a little, I guess not really a screen pass, but a flip to the tight end. And for Hamilton, you see the receiver who's trying to block him, but watch what Hamilton can do. Hamilton sidesteps the receiver, is going to get over and make a quick tackle on the tight end. Again, Kyle Hamilton is 6'4", and he moves towards the football very well. I have some issues about him moving deep. I know he had that one interception that everyone went crazy over, but for the most part, deep or towards the side, I wasn't as impressed with. He tends to sort of be kind of a little bit better at, once he gets his footwork, he can move, but it's a little bit more difficult for him to move around laterally, which that's the case of 6'4" guys. But, for his height, he's great at it. He's a really fascinating prospect, and I totally see the upside, and that's kind of why I struggle with him, because part of me wants to just say, yeah, screw it. I don't care about the negatives. Look at the good stuff. What can you do, not what can't you do. Just draft him and put him in the right situation. But the other part of me thinks, well, I could totally see the Texans drafting him and asking him to be a coverage safety all the time and having him suck. That's a real possibility as well. So that's just why I have some concerns about him. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Hamilton? One other thing I thought too is I'm just not a huge fan of drafting safeties that high. You can get pretty good safeties rounds 2 and 3. Just do it then. But again, besides the point, always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.